This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com. This show is brought to you by Slice on Broadway, supporting Pittsburgh podcasting with the perfect pepperoni pizza. Production services by Sidekick Media Services. And listeners like you, supporting us at patreon.com/awesomecast.
I'm getting awesome, you're getting awesome, we're getting awesome, yeah, that's what I said now. I'm getting awesome, you're getting awesome, we're getting awesome, yeah, that's what I said.
Nightmares, I don't care, I love it.
It's time to get geeky, get awesome. It is the AwesomeCast. I'm Mike Sorg at Sorgatron on the Twitter. Fully vaccinated. I got it. Oh, you want me to show? I didn't get a sticker, but I got a Band-Aid. There it is. There's a Band-Aid. Still didn't get my sticker. Actually, I got to give a shout-out. Somebody did hit me up when I said I didn't get my sticker to get vaccinated, so I'm going to give a shout-out to Fully Gimmicked out there. Does a lot of great T-shirts and stuff. I believe they're located down in Florida. But he hit me up on my Facebook comments, and I am going to get a pretty cool not an I've been vaccinated, but a vaccination sticker coming. So it's actually on their website, the stuff they're designing. So I'm looking forward to that. So just a quick shout outs there. So if I feel a little wonky, if I stop remembering how to say Hermes through the show, now you know why. I might be on the down. I might be on shot 2. Takedown of the COVID shot. So, but in the meantime, I got a great crew to help me out and pick me up off the figurative floor here through the show. First of all, back in the Studio D is the Big C himself. No, that's not what I'm going to call you. That means something else. I'm sorry. From the Gadget Guru from Big Bank International Esquire, John Chichilla is with us. Oh my God, this is already off to a great start.
All right, it's all good. I'm keeping that. I want to own that.
So we were doing Studio A and Studio D before, right? Like was that what we did?
Studio. I thought it was Studio
C in the
Studio
Big D.
C in the Big
That's
D.
what you know what? I need a refresher every once in a while because I can't remember.
That's all
what
good.
I've
We
been
can
doing.
switch it up.
We can switch it up again. There you go.
It'll be like the beginning of The Simpsons. We'll do a different one every episode.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, here you go. And also with us from the iPhoneography podcast, he is Dave Podnar, back with us once again, sir.
Thanks for having me on, Sorg. And I figured since Stutter isn't here, I'm going to rep her air bike derby shirt here.
Yes, the air bike derby from PB Smooth and Derek Direction did. I don't know if they actually completed the actual air bike challenge because I think they got way more donations than they expected. They were like, oh, we're going to do like a minute for every like $10 or something, and they ended up with like $2,000 in donations. So I don't. But there's some cool T-shirts, and Dutter's got money to help with her cancer issues. Actually, there's a video we've shared on a lot of places. I actually shared it in the AwesomeCast group. But a Dutter's update. She's again on assignment tonight with the Penguins. But she the hockey, not the flappy. But she was presented figuratively because the belt actually got lost in the mail. But she was presented with a Kicking Cancer's Ass Wrestling Championship this past Saturday night out in Freeport, Pennsylvania. So a really cool moment. All the wrestlers were out. Of course, she's a big part of that community as well. So it was really cool to have her out and have that happen. So those videos are over on the AwesomeCast group. We've shared it through a lot of my Twitter and everything like that. So go check that out. But this is the AwesomeCast. Please go check out everything at awesomecast.com. You can hit us up at awesomecast@sorgatronmedia.com for inquiries, at AwesomeCast on the Twitter. And, of course, please follow the AwesomeCast on Facebook, on the great Facebook group, as I just mentioned. A lot of stories we share throughout the week. And follow an AwesomeCast over on YouTube. And follow the Sorgatron Media Twitch. Why you want to do any of that? Because we go live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on all 3 of those platforms and the Twitter as well. We'll often, I didn't do it tonight because I forgot, but we will often share that out there too, and you can become part of the conversation live here as we do produce the show. And thank everybody who does join us live on the show here for that. And we're going to get a little athlete here today. Also, thanks to our audio partners, the 405media.com and postindustrial.com, helping to share the awesomeness. And a special thanks to our friends on the Patreon, patreon.com/awesomecast, our friends at the Coffee Club, not the Copy Club. Oh, that could be something. Matt Weller, John DeGore, John Carmen, Cynthia Klosky, and Scott McTaggart. And at the fan show level, Michael Fedor, bghmuseums.org, Professor Budkill, and Dave Podnar, who's here. Hello.
Hey. Hi.
Hey.
Yes. Hi. Hello.
Thank you. Thank you, Dave. Directly.
Quite
Thank
welcome.
you, Dave. So, thank you, everybody that is helping out with the podcast, with the Patreon. And we do have a extra conversation that we had earlier here about, what are my notes? Expensive watch bands, air tags, and Twit Club. And my coffee with Alex Lindsay. That was the other thing that we're going to put in there. So I don't think I ever talked about that, actually. So that is a first there. Anyways, let's get into our awesome things of the week. It's a very Appley day, of course, but first, let's toss it to Dave with the non-Appley news of the week. Very, very cool stuff coming out of space.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Before I was into photography or anything else, I was into space. And that's why I spent 6.5 years down in Morgantown, West Virginia. Yeah, that's pretty much the only reason I spent down there. So the fact that there are drones on drone on Mars now is just exciting. The fact that I love the fact that NASA put out the live stream and you saw the drone go up. I mean, it went around 10 feet, but still it's on Mars.
Yeah.
The fact that the atmosphere is 100th the thickness, and everything else that goes along with that, trying to deal with the different atmosphere, the amount of dust going there. The very cool fact, they actually took a little bit of the fabric from the Wright Flyer and they took it to Mars to put it on the drone. That was just a nice little touch.
That is.
And then you have just the overwhelming joy of the engineers in the room. When they see it take off, and you see I guess she is the lead engineer. I'm not sure who she is, but take the failure plan, since they had everything kind of they have if everything goes right, do this. If nothing goes right, here's our backup.
Yeah.
And so she just took it and just ripped it up. Right. It's like, okay, we don't need the failure plan because it worked. And it was just overwhelming excitement and joy. And this is a big deal for exploration of other planets, because those rovers everything that NASA does is amazing. But the rovers are really limited on range, obviously, because it's an 8-minute delay between Earth and Mars. So you can't remote control drive it.
No.
It's impossible. You would drive it into something. So and because everything has to be hardened for space so much, you can't do the cutting edge information. And uploading speeds and downloading speeds they're better because of the Mars Observer. So they just kind of shoot it to orbit, then shoot it to Earth instead of having to go all the way from Mars. So it's a little bit quicker with the better antenna, but you still, because the delay in time, the launch cycle, how long it takes to get there, it would help to be able to, instead of crawling along, to go up, get a better look what's going around, and actually hop places. We're going to fly from here to here. Okay, we're going to do samples, whatever, blah, 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 then move to the next place. You can cover so much more area that way. So this is just more of a proof of, can it be done? And just knowing, like I said, with the different atmosphere, how Mars there's so much dust flying around, where if you get a dust storm, even though there's less atmospheric pressure, there's enough grit that could throw off anything flying, especially something small. The fact it worked that well is just so exciting and so amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like, you mentioned the controls, but it's the particles in the air are and how, buoyancy, all the physics that make things fly on our planet are different. Right? Yeah. So which solves for another problem. It's like solve for an environment in this petri dish, but the petri dish is on the other side of the planet.
Right. And you can't you can get the equations working out. You can do assumptions on what previous, measurements have done with the atmosphere and the density and the winds and everything else. You can make adjustments to those, and those are nasty calculations. There are so many assumptions that when it comes to flight dynamics for a fixed wing aircraft, let alone a helicopter or a rotary device with the, they counterbalance. So you got one spinning one way, one spinning the other, so the torque doesn't happen.
Right.
But that is complicated, nasty, hard, and there's tons of assumptions that are done just to get the calculations to work.
Right.
So a lot of those assumptions like, oh, we assume this. Well, this is Mars. Can we assume this? I guess we're going to have to, otherwise the things won't work.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, just knowing they were able to do it, and like I said, if you look in the video that NASA put out the live stream around 2/3, 3/4 of the way in, when it works, and you can just see the joy and happiness that you can see. And I love the fact that they put a Mars helicopter mask on one of the computers.
I'm looking at the people in this, and like I'm seeing faces that look like they look like the age of like who I'm just encountering in the aero design program with SAE. Like
they definitely look like
crew.
They're in their 20s and 30s. Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean that's incredible. So and also the idea, like I'm probably encountering individuals that are going to be they're probably going to be doing something on Mars, with these design and engineering competitions that we've been working with. So, that's incredible, absolutely incredible. I love it. And of course, I guess along with this big news, I guess SpaceX just got a really big contract with NASA.
Right. So they got the moon lander contract. So they were able to do that very cheap. And one of the reasons they were able to, they were already planning a moon mission. So they already had, and the idea, I think, from SpaceX was, well, we're building, their current rockets. We're just going to use our current rockets for the moon landing that we want to do.
Yeah, because
they already did a bunch of the background engineering versus
they had already been thinking ahead to those ideas and designing for that and having multi-use systems. So that's incredible. That's awesome.
Is there anywhere that talks about like the drones, like that landing, kind of the it's not a tripod, a quad pod, like the way that the legs come down? My fear would be is like it goes up, hits it, like lands on a hill. How does it level out for the next takeoff? Or is it by design that it could then be tilted to kind of then take off away from the structure? I'm interested in how the base of it, why it's designed the way it is.
I'm sure it's somewhere. I haven't seen any explanation. I'm assuming also for this one, they're assuming takeoff and landing on a flat surface.
Yeah.
I would just be worried because we were talking about like you never know, or the wind kicks up and it blows it a couple extra feet.
Yeah.
And then oopsie.
Well, hopefully it does better than my little $100 drone when there's like any wind whatsoever, and it careens into the dog. So yeah. So get some good stuff from space. Thank you, Dave, for sharing that. Well, there was an Apple event today. We were speculating, and I feel like a lot more came out of it than I think anybody expected. Really, I don't know how groundbreaking everything was, but there were definitely some big updates that have us excited. Chilla, let's go with you first. What's your awesome thing out of this Apple event today?
What excited me the most? So oddly enough, and it's not the Apple TV itself that excited me, but the Apple TV remote, the new generation, it has like a 5-point controller, so you can up, down, left, right. You can tap in on it. You can use your finger around the edge of the circle to kind of fast forward, rewind. It has a power button, which is nice because if you didn't know how to get your TV and other stuff synced up with the current gen Apple TV, you had to actually hit the TV button,
Mm-hmm.
and you could kind of program it to do some things. It has a built-in back button, and the Siri button's been moved to the side. I'm not overly excited about the device from a wow, it's amazing, but it's what should have been put in with the current generation Apple TVs in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
I will be picking up at least one of these probably, because the other thing that I liked about this is they're backwards compatible. So if your device can run Apple TV OS, you can pick up the remote. It is $60, $59. We'll just call it 60. I'm also interested because to be quite honest with you, I've gotten so frustrated with the current gen Apple TV remote. I have actually dug out of drawers the old Apple TV Silver remote, and I have those in some of my rooms.
Mm-hmm.
In other rooms, I just rely on the Apple TV remote app on my phone. So this will be a welcomed addition. I don't know just yet if I'm getting the new Apple TV
Right.
itself, but the remote has me intrigued. One of the things I'm also interested in, I'm actually downloading the latest release candidate of the OS right now. Will we see the new remote interface come to the remote app?
Mm-hmm.
Because the remote app pretty much is just the glass panel top with a couple buttons at the bottom. I'm hoping they steal kind of this interface and add it into the app itself. Usually they're pretty good about staying consistent,
Yeah.
but I guess time will tell and we will see. I haven't seen anything about it being released as part of the latest iOS, but that's what I'm going to look for as well.
Biggest update for the Apple TV itself is the update to the A12 chip. I'm realizing as I'm playing some of these games that are coming down on Apple Arcade, I have the original, like the first like app capable Apple TV HD, and I'm realizing the chip in it is probably worse than every device that I have. Which I mean, I'm sitting here on the original iPad Pro and the 8 Plus. So, but still, they're handling. I haven't seen anything on those that it's choked up on, right? So far, really, when it comes to games or anything like that.
I thought it was interesting there. Did you see where you can now hold your iPhone up to your TV and it will recalibrate the picture? I thought that was pretty impressive.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty nice. The fact that you can just, like I said, hold your phone up to the screen, it'll communicate back and forth, and the Apple TV will adjust the signal to compensate for your TV without you having to deal with the TV settings.
Okay, so it'll give you the best picture, but adapt it with how they're putting the picture out, and through the quote filter of what your TV is doing with it, right? So
to me that's the interesting part, at least from what I saw. They're not going through the cumbersome setup of go into your TV and adjust this tint setting, adjust this RGB,
right,
CMYK setting. It sounds like it's recalibrating to what Dave was saying, what the Apple TV is pushing out. The sad part is, you turn off the Apple TV and then the picture is going to look even more worse
for everybody else. You're like, everything looks so much better on my Apple TV. Why don't I just use that? Yes.
Yeah.
Is this a software feature, or is this something for the new Apple TV itself?
I think it's a software feature. I'm interested to see will it be backwards compatible? I will say, the more and more I dive into the Netflix and Disney Plus realm, the less and less, and some of the shows that I once watched, like on HBO and Showtime, start to wind down. The less and less I have any interest in turning on anything other than my Apple TV.
Yeah,
so I'm probably in the minority there, but I can get mostly everything I want. Plus, I just found there's a File Explorer Pro for Apple TV that lets you map across your network. So pretty much any video files I put on a share, I can queue up as well. So
That's
it's pretty
nice.
darn impressive.
That's nice. Well, my awesome thing this week is the color purple. Not the movie, not the movie. But no, they kind of got me on this one, and I was like, and I'm hoping. Listen, I've been holding off on the iPhone. I just fixed my battery. Got a new battery in the 8, saying, okay, I'm gonna get to fall. Get to fall at least. Let's see what's going on. But they rolled out new colors. First of all, on the iPhone, they got purple, guys. They got purple. That's my favorite color, and now I need a purple phone. So of course it's the 12. Is it the 12 and the 12? So here,
Mini. It's not the Pro.
It's not the Pro Max.
It's not the Pro. The Pro Max.
Because if I'm getting anything, it's a Pro Max. Oh no, that's unfortunate.
That is an issue I have personally with Apple's colors. Is that their normal phones are the nice colory pastel-y colors, but the Pros, because they want you to be Pro, are the more subdued gold, silver, black.
They're the trendy, more affordable quotes thing. You know, it's just like when they did the what was it, the 5 Cs that were like the plastic ones, and then that's what they did.
Unapologetically plastic.
Unapologetically plastic. They didn't apologize, but they didn't bring it back. So, but no apologies. But yeah, they had like 8 colors. It was ridiculous. So it's $6.99 start for that level of phone at least. Wait, what's the mini? Is the mini like the 5C kind of or SE kind
it's
of?
It's a little no. It's actually above the SE. It's just that the mini is smaller. The SE is more the cheap with the older guts.
See, I didn't even know there was a mini.
Yeah,
the mini is like the normal. The mini would be like instead of giving everything a different number or keeping one of them like a number back, the mini is new guts, but the old size,
like the 11.
Yeah, I think 4.7 or something, or is it?
Yeah, or is it the? Well, judging by the color palette, it looks like the 5.4 and the 6.1s.
Okay, 5.4, yeah.
Versus the Max, the Pros. So the Pros do not get it. Those are the 6.1s and 6.7s. But everything has 5G, guys.
I'm super happy with I have the whatever blue that blue is. I have the blue color one.
Okay, the blue does look kind of
the
cool,
blue
though.
metal.
Okay, all right.
Now I don't have the Mac.
Well, that's okay. I got another chance. And not that I'm in the market to get it. I'm actually in the market to probably get a Mac Mini in the long run with the new M1 chip, and I just need something that's not, a portable thing. And it's like, okay, let's dip into this new stuff, right? And it'll be, much more affordable to get a Mac Mini than just about everything else, right? For the power. But if you long for the good old days of the Bondi Blue iMacs, I know that's what was in my school labs when I was at the Art Institute. So how about multiple colors of iMacs? So there's we got your white, you got your blue, you got your purple, and I think it's a green.
Green,
red, yellow,
it's
orange.
Basically a rainbow. It is a straight old fashioned rainbow.
It is, but there is a purple one. So if I'm rolling that way, guess I'm getting a purple iMac. Can we just extend these into the MacBooks? Maybe a little bit. Like even like I'd be cool if you just kind of drop that on. By the way, the extra colors like the purple start at the $14.99 level of. of the iMac, so it's a little more pricey for that. They got me again.
It's weird. It's weird. If you want your phone to match your iMac, you have to buy the more expensive iMac, but the cheaper phone.
What is this? It's getting complicated. It's getting complicated again. So I don't know. It's
just get a case.
Like I want the purple iMac. It matches my logo here at the studio. It matches the couch at the studio.
I'm sure you can go out to Decal Girl and they'll get you a fitted skin.
A fitted skin. There you go. Oh, well, you don't want me applying. You should see my screen protectors. They're just a nightmare of bubbles. that I live with. So that's why I'm glad I got like just a straight plastic cover on these guys. So, but I do have my purple phone in my OtterBox case at least. So let's be honest. You're not even going to see the purple if I got it. So, Dave, you're going to say something?
Yeah. Well, no, just though about the iMacs. It's kind of amazing that, and I know people are going to complain because there were mock-ups where there was absolutely all you saw was like it was like a monitor. You know, there was no chin on it, no borders. But in that chin down below on the iMac, that's all the guts. Mm-hmm. That's everything.
It is pretty astonishing how thin these guys are.
That little bit at the bottom, which really isn't that much, where the color is, where the screen isn't. That's everything. And that's this kind of like on the 20, and they're only one size, 24-inch. But that little bit at the bottom, mm-hmm. That's your CPU, GPU. Obviously, they got rid of any kind of spinning hybrid drives like they had in the past. They got the speakers in there. They have 2 fans in there. Everything's in that little, and it's only, I think, around 1 inch thick.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's 10 pounds.
Oh man. Oh, they seem like that, man. Yeah. So they still have, that's only a 24-inch. 27-inch is still the old style, and then you got your Mac mm-hmm. Pros and the Mac Minis, of course, is in the lineup for the desktop too. That's not bad. I mean, I guess. Good.
In the 20 from what I was seeing, because I actually I got pulled away from the video feed earlier today, but from what I was seeing is that the size of the device is actually almost the same size as the old 21. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like they got rid of so much bezel that they could get the 24-inch screen and the 21-inch form factor from a space perspective.
Yeah. So I mean, in terms of desktop space, it's bigger screen size, but desktop space it's the same size, and I think front to back it's pretty much the same, even though they got rid of the bulge. Mm-hmm. That the old iMacs had. They're just, like I said, it's a slab. Yeah. They made it a slab.
Yeah.
And the fact that I know for a Mac starting at 13 or 15 for the mid-level, that's not bad for a Mac. Mm-hmm. That's not a horrible price.
And considering the performance on these M1s, that sounds like it's tremendous.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder where they're going to go with like the iPads. Like, will this?
Well,
converge?
I think we're going to talk about it in a second. And that small form factor that we were just talking about for that iMac, I think that's going to inform what's we're going to talk about in a moment for the for the iPad Pros. But anyways, in the meantime, I want to give a shout out to our friends at Slice on Broadway, supporting Pittsburgh podcasting with the perfect pepperoni pizza. 4 locations, New York City style. Yins are made here in the area. Go check them out. They've been real good friends of the shows that we're doing here at Sorgatron Media on Tuesday nights, and we really do appreciate it. And we're starting to get some people at least in the studio. We've had the last couple weeks. So the pizza party has slowly started to begin again. So there you go. Go check them out. Slice on Broadway, sliceonbroadway.com, and thank you them for supporting some fine podcast, Yinzer podcasting, I guess. So I mentioned briefly there, what this lends into the iPad situation, and the big announcement. I mean, this is a big step forward announcement as far as I'm concerned. That first of all, that Tim Cook is apparently a Splinter Cell style spy. If you saw that promo that they did, that was the wildest thing I've seen Apple do. What's this breaking?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I would say they were like, so how much budget do we have to do this video production? Like, well, we just broke tons of money records. Spend all the money on all the production.
Jeez. That was wild. Absolutely wild. It was if you didn't see it, it was a guy breaking into the spaceship there at Apple to get the new iPad, and then he pulls the screen off Mission Impossible, or pulls his face off Mission Impossible style, and to reveal Tim Cook. Kind of a CG. The CG got a little wonky at the end there, but it was interesting. But to unveil the iPad Pro, and the big news about the iPad Pro, which I believe this is all the versions start at $799. But the big thing with it, where's the learn more, is it's going to include the very same CPU that is in the Mac, the Apple M1 chip, which to a point makes sense because the M1 chip is an offshoot of what they've been doing with the A series chips that have been on basically everything we talked about: iPhone, iPad. There's a version of it in your watch if you got one of those. So this is the new one. It's got all the new technologies, and it is going to be shipping. Well, all these are going to be shipping in a little bit here, so not right away, but this one's shipping actually at the end of the month for this. So, I mean, this is bringing, you know, literally desktop power into an iPad, and I mean, I like I said, I think I was mentioning before the show, I have an original iPad Pro here, you know, the big one, and it's and I'm not feeling any pinches for what I'm doing, but I'm not like editing 4K video or anything on it. So what does that mean for this, other than, you know, I guess eventually the ecosystem's going to catch up when we're just going to see more and more apps like a Photoshop or something that's just the same app across M1 Max as well as over on the iPad Pro, correct?
I'm guessing the answer to that is yes, because they did also kind of push the concept that, you know, many of their developers are developing across the platforms. One of the things that I would ask or urge you to do with even your older generation iPad Pro is to, you know, airdrop a 4K video from your phone to it and then run it through iMovie and recompress it and watch it just fly. It will, and at least from what I remember, even on the first gen device, the first gen Pros, I was amazed at how well they handled things like speed of large video compression. The other thing that I thought was interesting, and I don't know if they did, I think they may have covered it. There's a RAM differential between the devices. So when you get up into the, 1 and 2 terabyte devices, you switch from an 8 gig of RAM to a 16 gig of RAM iPad,
which is
which it sounds like from some of the teardowns. This isn't necessarily new, but they definitely upplayed it from what I heard. So if you get from 128 gig to 512 gig devices come with 8 gig of RAM, 1 terabyte and 2 terabyte devices come with 16 gig of RAM. Obviously, this is not replaceable, not upgradable. The other interesting thing is, I think the price, they top out at $2,400.
I just priced that out because I'm looking at this. I noticed you can get 2 terabyte iPad with cellular, and yeah, it tops out at $2,400, which is comparable to the MacBook Pro. I edit almost everything I do on. Yeah, I got 12.9 space grade, 2 terabytes Wi-Fi and cellular, and it is definitely topping out 2,400.
Well, now you got to build it out for real. Like you got to add the keyboard, right?
Oh, then it is going to
and the pencil,
yeah.
And you might as well throw in some kind of hub on there.
Gotta throw that Apple Care on there. Let's do that.
Oh, yeah, you definitely would Apple Care.
Oh, I ain't messing around with Apple Care. I just brought my phone and my MacBook into the store since the beginning of the year. Sorg does not mess around with the Apple Cares. Okay, that is not even a little bit. Nope. So,
I bet you with just some basics, you could easily clear $3,000 for that thing.
If I got a Hermes keychain with it,
you gotta get the Hermes tag for it.
Hermes tag for it. Yeah, I can say that. Hey, Apple's gonna Apple, right? But man, for what you're gonna get, you know, if you need 2 terabytes to do what you're doing on this, I can't even get 2 terabytes on my MacBook at this point. But you know, I listen. I'm barely filling my half a terabyte phone with things, and I do a lot of stuff. But also, for me, there's certain things I do. Like I like to upload a lot of the video clips. If you see like kind of the TikTok-y things that we've been doing in the last several months, like that. There's like the phone is part of the workflow for me, right? It's like, oh, work on this over here, do the edit, kick it over to the iPhone to post it natively on these apps. Like that's completely how I do it. So I'm actually doing probably a sad amount of less on my iPad Pro in the long run. Checking on Zoom with you guys and notes and YouTube and just once in a while it's a laptop replacement when my MacBook is busy rendering something. It's, like a 3-hour wrestling show or something like that. So that needs to sit, or the wrestling DVD that I'm processing right now from this past weekend's show. Listen, the DVD, we're recording in full 1080, and we have to boil it down to a standard definition DVD to be able to sell it to some people that still order DVDs. That's the process that takes the most time, guys.
Does the original, because you have the newer MacBook Pro.
It's a 2018, late 2018.
Yeah, but it's new enough. Did you? I'd be interested. Have you played around with Sidecar at all? 'Cause I would think that would be right up your alley from an iPad.
It used to be. Well,
switcher.
I also still have your big monitor.
Yep.
So that's really fun for watching trailers on, by the way, like Shang-Chi the other day. But I was playing with Sidecar before, and it was because I'm already doing so much, I think it was taxing the CPU too much. And Sidecar is a thing where it turns your iPad into another monitor, basically. Like dual display was something that we would use before for it, right? And this does it natively in the iOS, or in the OSs, I guess, both OSs. I've tried it since upgrading to Big Sur, which I did after I fixed the battery back in March, and it seemed to work a lot better. But I didn't stick with it because I didn't want it to impact the work I was doing. Also, remember, I'm editing in Final Cut. That's taken a lot of. That is even on my I'm not doing 4K, but if I'm doing like a multi-shoot, a multi-camera angle situation, like it's like I'm just not gonna parse more than I need to what's happening with the CPU and the RAM, right? So, but I mean, you talking about like sitting at the Starbucks and I want multiple monitors kind of situation?
Yeah, or I was even thinking about having a touch screen based kind of switcher, anything device of all trades kind of thing.
I wouldn't. I would depend on this thing, which is this wireless keyboard that you recommended to me. I will bring this on shoots with me, and the switching on this between like the number buttons is actually I like this. Just hitting the buttons there, or if I hit enter, it'll do the fade and stuff like that. I depend on this more than I would feel comfortable pushing an interface over Sidecar to an iPad right now. That's me. But it's also one of those things of if I'm doing a wrestling show live and I got to be on top of things, like live on a paid pay-per-view, like I can't mess around. And usually even those I'll probably be using the regular keyboard. But this is great for this where I don't have a lot of desktop space or something like that. And then, and if it starts going, I just plug it in. It's good to go. It's been super reliable. So, and that is the we have a video about this from before, but this is the REIIE mini keyboard. It has kind of like game controller shoulder buttons on it, which is very interesting. And you just throw a USB dongle. I actually have the USB dongle thrown into a USB switch, so I can use this on the Raspberry Pi I've been experimenting with here in the studio, which doesn't seem like it likes to throw Zoom on it just yet. But anyways, so iPad.
The controller works good. That's where I actually started using that controller, was with a Raspberry Pi. The only thing I ran into was typing out long command lines.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No. It's just for getting around a little bit, right?
Yep.
So, and it was like, oh, I need to type in the first few letters of an address to go to speed test or something, right? So, but it's not too bad because it just kind of feels like, it feels like the good old days when you had the text, the text phone, the Sidekick.
Sidekick.
it's my little sidekick here, I guess. So, but I guess he could program it to like be more of a video game controller kind of thing too. So
I didn't try to map it at all. I just
No,
was
I haven't
using it
either.
to-
No, I haven't had much reason to. So, I got plenty of controllers floating around the studio. So for anything like that, I would be into. All right, what else happened from Apple? We had
Sorg,
yes.
Sorg, before you move on from the iPad, the one thing that kind of it's kind of interesting that the new front-facing camera
Yeah.
and center stage,
Okay.
where it basically it looks like the camera's just so wide, they crop the camera. And if you're using FaceTime or they say other video conferencing apps, and you start walking around like you're presenting, it'll actually keep its focus. It'll actually keep the cut on you. And if someone else comes in, it'll zoom out to the entire frame. And that sounds like all software.
And that is
You just need the really wide front-facing camera so it oversamples
right.
pretty much.
That is an iMac feature.
No, that's iPad.
That's iPad. Oh, iPad.
That's iPad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did they upgrade the cameras in the iMac yet?
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
did.
The iMac are now 1080.
It took a pandemic. I want to point this out. It took a pandemic for Apple to finally update the webcams on their highly overpriced hardware. My $3,000 laptop.
they didn't upgrade the laptop ones though. That's the worst thing.
And they didn't, but still. But this is the first thing. So this is the first thing that they've had to update was the iMac, right? It's just the first thing rolling off the assembly line. Maybe when we get their updates to the MacBooks and things like that, we'll get that too. But in the meantime, your highly expensive MacBook is still rocking a 720 camera. I mean, your iPhone is obviously doing better than that. But
we've seen them we've seen them downgrade. Little did we think it was possible, right? But we've seen them downgrade the MacBook camera before they upgraded it. Because don't forget when they came out with the MacBook Nothing, they went down to they had to drop that thing down to 480.
What are they
480p
doing?
before we saw a 1080 in our Mac Mini or in our iMac.
Yeah.
But I'm willing to say this center stage on the iPad. Don't be shocked if we get an ultra wide selfie camera on the next iPhone. That can do the exact same thing.
I mean, I don't know what like consumer Skype does, but Skype for Business has been doing the whole oversample, crop, pan, follow you for quite some time. So it's probably a lot different from the wide angle that the iPad's going to get, but that software concept, I'm not overly like that's nothing new, at least from what I've seen in other competitors' software built in. But the camera quality will probably outshine most of the tech that we see out there. I'll be interested to see, and I'm guessing to your point, Sorg, this is an answer to the pandemic.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I mean, when you get a bunch of engineers and you put them in a situation, it happens to be the situation that everybody else in the country is dealing with, they start coming up with solutions that turn into products. Just saying, so because I mean, Apple's not been on location for the most part here this whole time. Also, a note on center stage. So this is not just the FaceTime thing. I can't remember if you guys mentioned. There is an API available. Third-party apps can use center stage, and they can toggle it on and off in an API. So like you can see, I can't see Zoom not bringing this to them, right? All your standard video apps, Zoom's, Google. Well, I don't know. I don't have much faith in Google Meet, to be honest. But whatever the next thing is from Google, but I think that makes a lot of sense, and I think it's a nice feature. It's a nice feature, and it could be helpful for a lot of people. So, yeah. Also, randomly, this is one Amanda popped at Narcissi in our Slack. That they, by the way, randomly, hey, updated Clips app, doing some cool stuff. Did you catch any of that?
I did not know that, but I'm going to update that because I love that Clips app.
I don't know if it was new, but yeah, there was some AR something or other they were doing with it that was pretty wild. So again, I was multitasking at the time, I'm like sitting down to go like start some work, and I was like, oh no, there's an Apple announcement right now. So a lot of glossing over that a little bit, but I think but then I stopped everything and yelled purple at my desk, and my wife is very concerned about me and our wallets. So, anyways, anything else? Tags. Finally, the long promised, the promised land of Apple tags. What is an Apple tag?
It's like a tile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, now one thing I don't know about Tile is the one advantage I think Apple's pushing is, if you lose something, we'll privately hook up to another iPhone that hook up so we can let you know where it is, even if you're very far away. I'm assuming, can Tile do the same thing, that if it's like you leave it in the restaurant type thing?
I think certain versions of the Tile will do that, but you have to be, I mean, you're now dependent on someone opening up like the Tile app in that location so it can ping off of it. I think Apple definitely has the market here, and I think Tile knows that because I think they've already opened up an inquiry with our government on what's it called?
Antitrust and
antitrust or some kind of anti-competitive.
Oh no, they did that last year, even when it was, because this thing's been, it was announced 2 years ago, since we all lost track of time for the last year. But Apple already opened up the APIs, so anyone
they could add it to their stuff too.
Exactly, and I think Apple did that partially because, look, no, we're not locking this down. Anyone can do this. Please don't come after us.
What I'm interested in is, and I don't know if Apple talked about it, because I think I did see most of the tag information. Did they talk about battery replacement?
Yes, it is replaceable battery. It will last a year, and they said it is replaceable.
It's like a standard watch battery, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
CR2032, yeah.
Like already that's a better deal than Tiles.
Yep.
Because Tiles you have to throw away and recycle after a year.
I think they're the Tile Pro. I think you might be able to replace.
Okay.
Or they give you a replacement. There's some trick to it, I think, for the Pro, but I mean, I'm getting a 4-pack. I'm just gonna say it right now.
Yeah, I think I am too.
It's that easy.
Ideally, I kind of joked around, and since she's watching, I want to get, and I think she's already gotten Tiles, but I'm like, this is the kind of thing I need to, get for my mother, because she's, has the, she's the one with the keychain that says keys I haven't lost yet. So, to give you an idea where that is. But also, like, we talked about like QR codes and kind of putting them on equipment. I would love to put just Apple tags on, all of the expensive equipment to make sure, just to be safe, on something like that. Like I'd love some sort of implementation, especially as I'm looking to travel here, and I mean, how many times have I lost, like, not like a camera or something, but I left my SD card, little, book thing. I left it in the scoring trailer at one of the events one time. Thankfully, they saw it, and I left a business card in it, right? But to actually have a tracker, that's the kind of thing that could fall out of your bag in the airport, on the site, something like that. It seems to make a lot of sense. And man, $400 doesn't seem too bad of a thing. So this is more than, what does it do? Oh, there's a Hermes, by the way. And here, we've been joking about it. There's the Hermes. Oh, wait, I'm on the wrong thing. There's the Hermes keychain for you. That's leather, basically. There you go. Ooh. You can lose your stuff in style. Somebody's gonna pick up and like, man, this guy's really forgetful, but they have some style.
Want to get your air tag stolen? Put one of these around it.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't want the air tag. They want they want the accessory wrapped around it.
So, of course, it does make a noise when you ping it, just like when you lose your iPhone. I love the cold warm with the direction. And it's like, here, it's 20 feet to your right. And has a little arrow going for it. But this is, precision finding is only compatible with the iPhones 11 and up.
Yeah, you need the U1 chips. You need that. You need the U1 chip to do that.
Okay, because that's one thing. Because they've talked about these chips in the past, and they've mentioned Apple tags, but they've never actually rolled them out until now. This integrates with your Find My, your Find My Phone, Find My Friends app that hopefully you're using out there already for your iDevices at least. I think that's and also you can get engravings with your initials or emoticons.
You know what you can't use for the precision tracking? The new iPad, which surprised me.
What?
It doesn't have the U1, huh?
The new iPad doesn't have the U1. I'm like, really? I'm like, $2,400. No U1.
Oh no.
Now it does have a couple nice things they mentioned, and I think this is this is Apple getting a better feel for the room, saying if there is an AirTag on you and it's out of because you have to pair it to a phone. They actually said iPhone accessory.
Yes. So
let's say there's an AirTag and someone puts an AirTag on you and the phone gets far enough away it's out of range. The AirTag will start beeping.
Wait, is this like when I get the rent-a-car and I leave the keys in the car and I realize I left and it beeps at me kind of situation?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. Or if your phone notices there's an AirTag close by and the device, that was originally paired to is too far away, your phone will say, "Oh, by the way, there's an AirTag right next to you."
Huh.
Just because I think there's a lot of concern of what if I have, someone's in an abusive relationship type thing, and they could use this AirTag to keep a track of somebody without them knowing.
Well, yeah. But you can do that with an iPhone. I can take an old iPhone, drop it in somebody's bag.
Right. But it's a lot. But in terms of the things only
I can't
that
fit
big,
this in the heel of your shoe.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, I mean, you literally could put this. I don't know how thick it is, but I'm pretty sure you can put it like in a foldable wallet.
Yeah, you're talking about it at least has to be that watch battery size, right?
Yeah.
So
not much bigger than that.
I mean, honestly, it looks like a watch battery. It looks like an Apple Watch battery when you look at these pictures. So it'll just say, it'll just be like hey, did you know there's an AirTag near you kind of thing, right? So. All right, that's good. That's good. That's good at least, and there's a nice protection against. Yeah, good on them for being forward thinking about something like that and thinking of something that is not, probably typical in that development culture, right? So, no, that's great. That's great that they're doing that.
On the flip side, I may slip this in my kid's back pocket when we go to Target. And just say, yeah, if you want to go to the next aisle, no problem, because now I can track you down to the.
Yo, Chilla, are you about to low jack your kid?
Oh, I would low jack him in a minute.
That's great. Oh, new application.
He's gonna be like what's his name? Fresh Prince. He's gonna be like Will Smith in Enemy of the State. He's gonna have to shed multiple tags to get out, get away from me.
Jeez.
Now, this is about the event, but not necessarily technology related. But I remember 4 or 5 years ago, people were saying, Apple puts out that they're this progressive, forward-thinking, environmentally, blah, 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 blah. But your presenters are 5 old white guys and maybe 1 woman. And you look at the presenters today.
Yeah. Yeah.
They run a gamut of ages, ethnicities, backgrounds.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Cattail going by the webcams.
yeah. I mean, well, yeah, she can't help it.
no, and yeah, it's great. It's been very representative, and there's definitely a lot of even some visual messages. I think were kind of taken in there. I mean, there's there's the big rainbow that was at the end there, that apparently in their park there. But also that they're just walking through the park in the middle of the office was pretty wild. When you realize what's going on, or like, oh, what's he doing out in the middle of the woods? It's like, no, the woods is inside the office.
The office.
Yeah. So, it's a nice little tour.
When that thing was getting built and just kind of tracking, and when they showed the before and after, and the area that it was traditional office park where it's like 85% concrete with these little bit of trees here and there.
Yeah.
And they said, yeah, we're tearing up all the concrete. We're going to make it 85% trees, 15%.
Wow.
And that inside that giant ring, they have all the walking trails, and because they actually show the when they went over the air tags, the person went into the workout area, and that's the Apple workout area where you kind of walk across these nice trails in the wood area, kind of to get to the workout space.
Now, it's not the Fitness Plus workout, because they're down, as they remind me in the beginning of every video, it's Santa Monica, California.
Right.
So that's where they get the pretty workout people to instruct, to tell me. They talked about how I'm watching. I've got this guy a couple of times, and he's just embarrassingly very into Nickelback, but doesn't know the words. So there's some interesting personality moments sometimes when you're on your treadmill and your cycling program. So just putting that out there experientially there. But it's been a lot of fun, and I've been working out more than I probably have my entire life at this point over the last several months. So barring getting COVID and losing a month, but anyways, that aside, well. Is there anything else we kind of need to roll out here from the looks of things? But I think we covered all the bases here for the most part, right?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Chilla.
No, go ahead.
Wait, Chilla. Hold on, Chilla. Wait, I got Chilla. What'd you just drop in the Slack? What am I looking at here over here?
I was going to close on this note, so let Podnar go.
Okay, Podnar, you first, and then we'll tell him.
I'll wrap it up.
Okay, yeah. The one thing they mentioned in the beginning was the subscriptions and how they're updating the podcast app. So
we didn't get to talk about that.
I'm really curious to see if that catches on, because Spotify, you have unfortunately it's still siloed, where podcasts in general aren't.
Yeah.
But if you want this, extra special content that's premium, you don't to your Patreon, you go to your Apple Podcasts.
Right.
Hopefully they don't call it Plus, because everything in the world's Plus these days.
Right.
Getting kind of sick of it. Plus, if you're a podcast producer, you have to pay $20 to get into the podcast thing to make the extra premium content.
Well, you just turned me off of that idea. Then it was
that may just gives you extra, extra things for Apple.
Is it like
$20? Yeah, not 20 a month, 20 a year. I'm sorry.
So it's like a developer account, but for podcasts.
Yeah, for
right? So it's not like
yeah.
I don't need to drop 20 for this show, drop 20 for another show. That's just my account to do the developer.
That's you as a producer.
That's not bad.
That's you as an individual producer. It's $20 a year.
I'd be willing to try that.
But what's their cut?
Yeah.
Well, no, that's direct to Apple. That's direct to Apple.
That's direct to Apple, But what's
30%?
I was reading there. It's still 30%. Jeez.
Yeah, it's going to be 30% for the first year, I think, and 15% after.
And it's not near that when we use Patreon. It can't be near that for Patreon.
No.
So I don't even notice what they cut out, to be quite honest, when it comes through. I mean, I guess not that I notice what our actual thing is either. It's just like, oh, it's like every time Patreon comes through, it's like, oh, people care. Thank you. So that's it, and then I pay a bill. I pay a hosting bill, and we move on. So, no, because I was interested in maybe getting in on it, and I don't know, maybe I still will at this point. So, I mean, $20 is $20. But to me, the most immediate thing to do is replicate what we're doing with Patreon, with the content at least, right? You know, hey,
Right.
get on here and, I don't know, $1 a month and you get, you know, like the gold content. But you'll get, I mean, right now I'm doing the gold content as like links to YouTube that's unlisted. So, because I think I need to do another feed on Fireside or something if I want to do it on Patreon, right? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about that. So I haven't talked to the Patreon people since we realized we accidentally broke some rules on the other show. But no, I'm willing to try it out and see if anybody gets on it. So, you know, if it's, you know, if you get, you know, 5 people hop on that thing at $1 a month for the year, you've at least paid for what you put in, I guess. You're right. And then anything above and beyond that's gravy. So, but yeah,
I'm guessing too, if you get in early, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people getting in early, but I'm sure if you get in early and with your catalog, I wouldn't be surprised if you could work your way up.
I don't know, because
Some
it's
kind
going
of
to be like your audience is already there, right? Unless they got, they could do like, hey, here's some premium podcast kind of
Yep.
things. Even, and we talked about briefly beforehand, it's funny because we just do the extra stuff, right? Like we were putting out the stuff that we do live on the feed before we kind of locked down our live production, and that sounds like that's what like somebody like This Week in Tech is doing, right? For $7 a month in no ads. So I don't know. It's a weird question on that, you know.
Well, one thing I don't know is how widespread Patreon is. You know, is it pretty much U.S., Europe, Canada?
I think it's pretty much everywhere.
I think
Is it everywhere now?
It is. I don't know that it's not. So
Okay. I'd
Yeah.
say that's the only advantage I could think Apple would give is since they're saying they're rolling out to 170 countries,
yeah.
you don't have to worry about.
But does that matter
Um,
as much for my regional tech podcast like this one?
Right.
Or you
Right.
know, or I mean, I guess the wrestling show I know I have an international audience, but
Right.
I don't know.
But I could see people outside the U.S.
Mhm.
you know, saying, "Oh, I would love to use Patreon, but it's not available in my country because my banks won't work with Patreon, but everything works with Apple."
I will say at this point, looking at it, and I haven't dived into it, just the initial concept has been presented to me. I don't see doing anything that would put different content on this than what we do on Patreon.
Right.
Right? Because of their fee structure, maybe you'll get different stuff for a different price. You know what I mean? But and then there's also like, give us $1 here, but probably give us $1 over here on Patreon because they're actually going to get more of that buck. You know, there might be that conversation happening. Just like, hey, buy a CD from us instead of getting our stuff off of iTunes because we're going to see more of that money, right? Like that. That's kind of that's kind of a little bit of a creator's dilemma in platforms that's been, you know, since the GarageBand days, I suppose. But .com, not the actual garage, but maybe that too. But anyways, Chilla, you got one more thing to roll out of here on.
And the one more thing.
And one more thing.
Funny enough,
Appropriate.
someone has actually gone and created like a list of the soundtrack to today's announcement or announcements and linked to all of the music on Apple Music. So if you want to listen to any of the tracks that were played while Apple was presenting today, funny enough, the one song that was played while the camera swooshed around Apple Park is not out yet. That song, "The Darkness You Fear" by the Chemical Brothers, doesn't release till April 23rd.
Oh,
But the rest of the music from today's I don't know, announcement / video / whatever you want to call it, all of that music can be found on Apple Music, which I thought was pretty funny. It would be interesting if other companies start to do, you know, here's today's soundtrack on Spotify.
yeah, seriously. Well, that's a fun thing to go on. Thank you, Chill, for bringing that up. I'm going to use my Apple Music a little bit more these days, actually. So thank you, Dave Podnar, for joining us. iPhoneography podcast. Maybe you'll have some subscriptions on there.
You never know. You never know where we're going to expand out.
And John Chichilla at Chilla on the Twitter.
John Chichilla on the Facebooks.
There you go. Thank you, everybody, for joining us, the AwesomeCast. Check out everything on AwesomeCast.com. I'm Matt Sorgatron on the Twitters. Until next time, you've been our awesome audience. Have an awesome week.
This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com.